It'll probably be all right.
Well, I don't see the tools on your wall swinging back and forth. So.
No, we're east northeast of this.
Are you?
Or probably better saying northeast of where it is. We're on the dirty side for rain, but not necessarily. It's about 200 miles from us, so we're getting a lot of rain.
Yeah.
And we will get a lot of rain over the weekend. It's going to come in, and then it's going to stop right after it makes landfall, hang out there for a couple of days, and then they forecast it to go back out and skirt along the coast, the Texas coast, and then go right through Houston.
Up to Houston, yeah. That's what last report I saw was this morning when I was having my coffee. But
well, that's what they still think. Right now,
it's going to hang out a couple of days before it starts moving.
Yeah, that'll be Sunday and Monday.
That is scary.
Actually, Monday and Tuesday. There's Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Howard.
And it's just soaking up energy from that warm water. The shallows out there really, really fuel it up. So,
yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody.
I'm more worried about flooding than anything else. We haven't flooded in our house, but it got really close last time.
I never fully appreciated a flood until October of 2015 in Columbia and lots of South Carolina here. We had a really bad one, and we're still recovering from it. A lot of the dams burst because we've got a lot of creeks and rivers in Columbia, and when one went, they went like dominoes because they'd not been properly maintained, and a lot of them were privately owned, and so yeah, it was bad. So I feel for you. I hope for the best.
Yeah, I kind of hope for the best too. I mean, all we can do is just kind of wait and see.
Yeah. Yeah, wait and see and get everything, up to higher level in the house or whatever you can do.
Yeah, last time, really, we decided there was really only a couple of things that were irreplaceable. Pictures, obviously.
Yeah.
But now all photographs, we've digitized them. So they're all, backed up on multiple disc and everything.
Yeah, I back everything up twice a week, and then once in a while I will back up on my son's hard drive and let him take it across town to where he lives, and that way it's in a safe site location.
Yep.
How you doing tonight, Charles?
I'm personally doing pretty well, but my Zoe Life Nobler, I had an incident today.
Incident doesn't sound good.
Yeah, so I was flying with the guys early this morning, and then I kind of moved. They were leaving, so I moved over to my circle, and I set up my stooge and everything. And ordinarily, and I mean this, ordinarily, I put the stooge line underneath the flying lines.
But this time you decided to try it on top of the flying line.
Oh.
I didn't even think when I laid down the stooge line. So what happens, I take off and the stooge line's on top of the so
oh man, that sucks.
Yeah, so I have some pictures of the basically the fuselage broke in 3 places, but the wing is in good shape and the tail feathers are in good shape. But it broke ahead of the leading edge of the wing and behind the leading edge of the trailing edge of the flap. And it's kind of a mess.
A buddy of mine that flies with us out there did the same thing with his stooge. He had a line running out, but he put it across the top of his lines, and he put it in front. So he flies with his right hand, and he had the stooge line in his left hand. And I didn't even think of what my brain should have said. That makes no sense, Richard. Move it to your other hand. Pull it behind here. But I didn't think. And when he took off, it did a wing over, and really there wasn't many discernible pieces. I mean, I found a couple of prop parts.
I shouldn't laugh. I just lost my plane myself.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't even have part of a wing left. I couldn't even find the bell crank. When it hit, it was straight, perfect in. I mean, No one could do it any better. There's still a mark in the concrete where he hit. So,
yeah, those days happen to all of us. So that's the thing about control line. When it takes off, you gotta already know in your head that it could come home in a grocery bag.
well, it's not if you're going to crash; it's when you crash. What's your next project?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't crashed in like 2 years.
Oh, well, you
maybe almost 3 years.
Oh, that you're beyond. You're borrowed time now.
Yeah, I pretty much. I mean, even this, I don't really consider this a crash because I really never got a chance to fly the plane.
Right.
And once it took off, it all just started to unravel. And matter of fact, it ended up breaking the stooge line and broke both lines, both flying lines. The plane was outside the circle. And I have a little bit of a video if you want. If I could show it to you.
Yeah, sure.
Let me see here. I'll just kind of. I have the carnage. Is what I have.
Yeah.
It's
Hey, Wally.
I'm glad I've never done anything like that.
Hey, Wally.
Hey, man. Sorry to hear about your bad luck.
I know. It's like, when is it going to end? You know, it's like, oh my goodness.
I'm eating Twizzlers. That's my standard hurricane food. Anybody
There
want
you
Twizzlers?
Oh yeah, I like Twizzlers. I like the cherry and the black, but I bet you that's a strawberry, isn't it?
Yep. That's
I can't find the cherry ones anymore, and strawberry is one of my least favorite candy flavors. Now, I love strawberries, but I don't like strawberry candy.
I do like strawberries, fresh ones.
I like cherry candy, but kind of like grape. I can't tell where they get the flavor from because it doesn't resemble the real thing.
No, it doesn't.
But,
Not even close.
Now, orange, like Mike and Ike's, the orange and lemon, they resemble real orange and lemon flavor. I like them.
Well, Charles, you ready with the carnage yet?
Not yet. I'm trying to find it on my hard drive. And it's kind of rough. It's not edited yet, but I'll look for it. So you guys keep talking, and I'll find it, and I'll prompt you when I have it set up.
Well, Charles, that's why on my stooge, I run bright green string so I can see it. So if for some reason it got on top of my lines, when I pulled my handle, I would see that go up, and then back down over the line.
Ken Colbert writes to us that he just watched one of Charles's flying videos and said to tell you fly very well. He must not have watched that flight.
I haven't publicized the other one yet. And who was that, by the way, Rusty? Who was that?
Ken
Was it
Colbert?
on video? If you got
the video.
No, he's talking about one of your other flying videos.
Yeah,
who was
Ken
it, though?
was watching one of your others, I guess. But what about this one? Today's was that on video too?
No, unfortunately, no. I don't have the actual flight. I just have the. I just left the plane put where it landed and got my camera, and I just kind of videotaped the carnage.
Yeah, I always get a picture of the carnage. I don't know why, but I like to have a picture of it. Hey, I forgot to heat my coffee up. It's all made. I got to go throw it in the microwave. I'll be right back.
All righty.
Y'all entertain yourselves for a minute.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I got one Twizzler left, so.
Time for a store run.
The store has nothing. I mean, it's like wild animals.
That's the way it was up here for this eclipse. I mean, everybody just hoarded into the stores.
Yeah. I mean, what do you need?
Shelves everywhere.
What do you need 60 gallons of water? I mean, a family of 4 doesn't need 60 gallons of water. At least they don't in my mind.
Well, the city here thinks that one person goes through 100 gallons of water in a week.
I had drank 100 gallons of water this year.
Well, that's talking about your cooking, your toilets, your yard. That's what they figure average is 100 a week.
We're supposed to take showers?
Well, yeah, do we really do that?
Yeah, I mean, depends on if it's a flying weekend and.
No,
my wife's out of town. No, I may not visit the shower for a couple of days.
You might want to change the sheets before she gets home.
Yeah, I always wash the sheets. Yeah, they do have
A
a
little extra smelling sauce or something.
no. Then she'll know I've been up to no good. But yeah, that I could not. I watched one guy in the checkout line. He must have had 40 bags of chips.
God,
Wow.
good Lord. I think
Yeah.
you do something more nutritious than that.
I just don't comprehend it. Other people have needs as well. I mean, I don't. My kids are all grown. They've left. It's just my wife and I and the dog. And, you know, I got 2 gallons of water. Luckily, they still had some left. And I got 1 bag of chips. And I got lunch meat. And I lucked out and got bread. I got 1 loaf of bread. And that ought to last about a week. And I just don't, even when we had all 3 boys living at home, we didn't go through 40 bags of chips in a week. I don't get it, but
Yeah. People are hoarders.
yeah, I just, you know, I don't know. It's just disappointing.
Now, when we had the big flood in 2015, it was just a big line of rain that came through and never stopped. It wasn't a hurricane or anything, but we had our swimming pool was pristine, crystal clear blue. And so we had 15,000 gallons of water that we could use, and we'd bring it in and boil it.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of chlorine in it. You know, I don't want to drink that, much chlorine, but boiling gets rid of that. So that was good for cooking and stuff. And,
and plus
we
the toilets.
keep bottles of drinking water all the time anyway.
You know what, Howard? They do the same thing back up here in the winter. They'll say, "Oh, we got this huge storm coming through. It's going to be like record snows and all this stuff." And then people go to the stores and they just go nuts.
Rampage it, yeah.
It's a rampage. And then when it snows, we might get 4 or 5 inches of snow. It's like,
yeah, it's fun.
that is nothing. Everybody gets all scared and all this stuff. It's okay to be prepared and everything, but wow, it's like, the same thing you're dealing with down there.
Yeah.
Hi, James.
Hey,
James.
Hey, I just got done watching one of your videos about a half an hour ago.
Oh yeah, which one?
Yeah, the one where you guys was flying the Ringmaster with the LA-25.
I watched Daryl wreck his Sky Ray the other day.
Yeah.
The reverse wing over. I didn't know he was doing that.
That's been Johnny Boss.
It was a good wing over, but he flew right into the sun and just lost it. And I think his muscle memory's not quite tuned yet for emergency pull-ups from inverted. So he probably pulled the wrong line.
Yeah, I wrote to him and I said, "Oh shit!" The exact same time he did.
So I think I have this thing queued up, I believe. I did the share.
Yeah, something's coming up. It's going black on us. Let me lock on to you.
Yeah, I'm showing black screen too.
Yeah, you're just black screen right now.
How about now?
Still black on my end.
It says media control when the screen comes up.
So, Howard, how long are you guys in for this hurricane stuff?
Normally, it wouldn't be very long. However, this one is going to come in, stop, then make a circle, and come back up the coast through Houston. So this is supposed to be out of here by Thursday of next week.
I bet it'll turn and come towards the east and be a tropical storm when it gets to South Carolina. And those sometimes rain on us worse than hurricanes do, because the tropical storms are generally moving slower over land.
Yeah, they really dropped a lot of water and they're very slowly moving.
Yeah, well, after I visit Howard, is going to come visit me. I
remember you saying you were going to Corpus earlier this week, didn't you?
Yeah, I was there. I drove there Sunday. Yeah, I was there Monday for the hangout, and I left there Tuesday afternoon, drove to Houston, Stayed the night there and drove back from Houston Wednesday afternoon. Howard, did you see that wreck that was on I-10 between Houston and Baytown?
No, what happened?
The one with that 18-wheel, the little, it was like kind of like a dump truck. The trailer of it was like jacked up and it freaking collided into the signs by the overpass.
Oh yeah, that happens all the time.
Oh man.
At
That
least
happened about, that was like
yeah.
probably about 10 minutes before I got there. And luckily my GPS detoured me all the way around in some back.
Hey, Dane, happy Friday.
Hey.
Well, I'm about to start a project, a new one.
all right, guys, here you go. Here's my son's new ride.
Sweet.
He's a life flight pilot, and they got him a new helicopter. It's a
That's
used,
nice.
but it's a new one to him. So
Yeah. Oh man, that's
Now,
nice.
now where is he at?
he's in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
He's running his flight simulator right now. That's him.
Right on.
Yeah, he's got his helmet on and night vision goggles, and he's doing
Was he
something.
in, was
He's
he
at
in
work.
military?
Yeah, he flew in Afghanistan, but
Right on.
they don't. The FAA does not recognize military time in a helicopter as anything other than flight time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
You're not a certificated pilot. So, I mean, it didn't take him long. He went through the training and got his lesson. I mean, his private pilot, rotorcraft, and then instrument pilot, and then commercial pilot. And then he got all of those within about 2 months.
Y'all see Charles's Nobler there?
Okay, I see I see a nose. Oh, that's not good.
No. And then here's the fuselage.
You know what? My son's Nobler ended up just like that. I've got a wing and a tail section and no body.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I had a video of it, but I can't get the video to play. But these I have to do. But you get an idea.
Yeah. Why didn't you crash an ugly airplane?
I know.
That's
That's like
pretty
my
airplane.
previous airplane.
Yeah, you crash the ugly ones.
Yeah, it's like.
You're not supposed to do that.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's too bad. Well,
The video actually shows more carnage than this. This is just some snapshots I took. But yeah,
I don't know if
Give you
I'm
the idea.
emotionally strong enough to see the actual carnage. So.
Yeah, it looks like the engine beams are broken.
oh, they are. They are. I'm trying to. It's
Bummer.
yeah, the
Got some kind of chatter going on in the background.
yeah,
Yeah, I hear
the
it
old
too.
body off of it to save your wing and your tail.
yeah, I am. Yeah, that's the parts that are good is the tail and the wing.
Is that a painted plane or is that monocoque?
It's actually ultra coat. It's actually ultra coat.
Yeah, that looks good. I just weighed my T40 for the first time today and was amazed. It weighed 50 ounces. And I thought it was going to be in the low to mid 40s, but it was a lot heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
And it's also extremely tail heavy by about an inch from the recommended setting. So I ended up having to put a big heavy muffler and a big heavy aluminum screw-on spinner on the front of it, and that brought it right to the point. So it's probably 52, 53 ounces by now.
Did you use an LA engine or what did you use?
LA 46.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a nice motor. Actually,
Yeah, they run good.
I had the LA-46 in this Nova, and I just loved it.
Dane, I think that chatter's coming from you. Have you got your YouTube channel running in the background?
I don't know. I can't figure this thing out. It keeps telling me I'm already on a call.
Have you got a YouTube window open?
Let me see.
You try closing it. See what happens. That's usually where it comes from.
You know, I had actually had retrimmed my plane yesterday. Because before the contest, I had my handle really biased because my outside maneuvers were so much quicker than the inside maneuvers. So I went and lengthened the push rod. I have a capacity to lengthen and shorten the push rod with the push rod I have. So I actually retrimmed it, and I'm not kidding. It was flying the best that I can remember. And put up 4 flights this morning, and then it just happened.
Well, at least you got a few flights out of it, but doesn't that suck? You just got it on, you know, flying like you want it, and then bust it. Sounds like
me. You know what? I actually got more than a few flights. I keep a logbook, and I have 218 successful flights. This was the 219th flight.
That's something I don't do.
Consider it. I don't consider it a flight either because it never really got. I was taking off, and when all this happened, so you know, as a kid, I didn't have planes last that long, so I feel really fortunate and blessed.
What you working on, Dane?
I am getting ready for the James Mears Memorial Combat Bash. I have some FPV ships. I'm just trimming out and making sure they're all good to go.
Yeah. Tomorrow will be my last visit to Huntersville before the contest up there.
Dane, is that a Cartier Gotcha?
Yeah, this one's the Gotcha FPV. Yeah. And it's always the first one I fly. And this one's now, well, actually, this event, it'll be a year old. And so it's the first one I fly every contest. It's good luck charm.
If it's lasted a year, it's been around a year too long.
Yeah, I haven't crashed.
I mean, life expectancy of an F-2D plane is 1 match.
Yeah, that's why they come with 5 or 10 of them.
No, you buy 10 or 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't go to a contest without 10. 10's the minimum.
That's the first time I've seen
when you buy them. You buy 5 or a quantity at a time. What's the price on them?
$50, between $50 and $60 each. So most of the time you buy a minimum of 10. Most of the guys won't sell you less than 10 because that's the size box that makes it efficient to ship it.
Right.
So shipping it from the Ukraine to here is $130 or $40. And
no sense in buying them.
Yeah, you don't want to buy 5 because it still costs $130 or $140. So you might as well buy 10. The box holds 10. So if you buy 20, then you pay $250 or $60 in shipping, but you get 20 airplanes. So, I mean, the actual cost counting shipping is probably, I don't know, $60 an airplane.
Yeah.
And they become expendable. They're just something that you don't get emotionally attached to any of them.
Yeah. I've got one real combat plane other than I'm not counting the toy combat planes like Little Satan, but I've got a half-A Gladiator with a Norvell AME on it, 061. Yeah, that little engine really screams, but it's nothing compared to the Foras and the Profis and that sort of stuff.
Well, the Cyclones are really the super strong motors.
The Cyclones, yeah. And actually the Foras are kind of a Cyclone knockoff, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I run them in half-A, and I run these little streamer hawks. They're all foam in half-A.
Yeah.
These are from Jeff Dawson. I got about 10 of these and a couple of these 49. I was running the Pro. You know, I was running the Profi at first, and I don't like the way they hot start.
Well, you're supposed to use most people use the electric starter in half A.
Yeah.
I got a spring on my AME.
Yeah, spring won't work on these.
You want?
No. I mean, the Cyclone is about the same size as an 09.
Yeah, the Cyclone and the Fora, you don't have to use a starter. They fire right up.
Yeah.
But they are big engine.
Right, they're heavier. They're much bigger.
Yeah.
I've never used a starter on that Fora.
No, we never flew without one. Those things will eat you up.
Well, we got half A day coming up in September, and I'm going to clean up my Gladiator and get it balanced right. Last time I flew it, it was tail heavy, which is never a good thing with a plane that fast. And I'm going to look, and somewhere around here, I know I've got a VCR tape, so I'm going to yank a spool of tape out of that thing and hook it to it. I can't wait to see this videotape fly behind it. Unfortunately, it'll be in broad daylight, so I won't get to see the glow from it, but still, it'll be something fun, something different. I always bring it. You see those little blue trophies back there on the wall? Those are all half A day for best flight and best appearance, because a lot of those guys bring a bunch of planes up, set them on the ground, you know, so it looks like we got a lot, but nobody flies them very much. You know, we'll have 4 or 5 guys fly a plane, so those
Well, they last longer that way.
And I'm the only one that does loops and 8s and overhead stuff.
Oh goodness, you're pretty risque. You're out on the edge, man. The bleeding
So I
edge.
get all the trophies. I got best flight 3 years in a row, I think.
I remember one time I was at a contest and it was windy. I couldn't believe the wind, and there was this guy flying a half A, and he did the full stunt pattern. I never seen a half A do a stunt pattern, and he did a good stunt pattern in wind that I wouldn't even. I mean, at that time I'd be hesitant to fly my big planes in.
Yeah, well, wind is challenging for half A, but if you can slow it down and put something like a APC 6.2 prop on it, if it's a really fast engine, then that'll bring it down to where the engine still runs full speed on the bladder like it has to, but it doesn't pull the plane around quite as fast. And you can put together a pattern with authority with that.
I have a half A kit called the Hawker Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, Hawker Hunter or a Hawker Stunter? It's an RSM Eric Rule kit, and it's for a half A.
Hunter.
Say it again.
Yeah, I built 2 of those.
The half A one.
Yeah, I did it with a lot of people use that slack balloon tank, and it comes with it. It actually looks pretty good, but I ran mine on a bladder, and I took the 6.2 ATC and cut it down to 5.5, and man, that thing is easy. It's
Hey, Dean,
wild.
have you ever used any of those red cap caulking tube sealers that roll on like condoms onto the tip of your caulking tube for bladders? Have you ever tried those?
No.
I've heard that I've heard that if you can get those, then you don't need a fine thread needle valve because their pressure is relatively low and it'll work with a standard needle valve. I hadn't tried that.
Here's what
That's
I
what
do. I just take I take like a FAI size bladder. I got the measurement off of that. And then I got some real thin walled bladder. I can't open this thing, but see this black one that's smaller? This turns out to be super low pressure bladder.
Uh-huh.
So I about 1.5 inches of that, and you can put about 1 ounce in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing how much you can put in a short piece of tube.
Yeah, I think the pattern on that Hunter Stunner with 16 or 20 cc's. I think it's 16. I don't remember what that is in ounces.
Well, 30, let's see.
That's
I don't
what that thing is.
I can't remember either.
Is that Hawker Stunter pretty stable? I've never flown one.
Probably
Oh
not.
man, it's amazing.
It's stable?
It's real nice.
Combat
Okay.
planes aren't supposed to be stable, so that's a relative term when you ask a combat guy what he would call stable.
Well, everything's
which
stable.
It's a half-face stunner. I mean, it has flaps and everything.
Well, what's funny is I was out at the field and I was flying my Nobler and I was flying the pattern and my arm hurt after the pattern. I was like, man, these things pull like a mule. And so my friend Joey's laughing. Joey's like 17-time national champion in speed. So he asked me, he said, wow, that looked like a pretty good pattern. Did it seem fast? I said, no, it's slow. He said, oh, well, you were doing 3.6 seconds.
Yeah, slow to a combat guy. It's like Mike Lonke. Y'all met him one day last week when he signed in. He's a combat guy that's come over to Stunt. And he's got the reflexes of a cat because he's used to flying extremely fast. And these things airplanes just lumber around about 55 or 60 miles an hour. It's like nothing to a combat dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because
From time to time, I fly combat myself, hoping to. My goal is to do the stunt pattern with a combat plane one day, but it's just going so fast. I haven't been able to have the courage to try it.
Well, just keep them big. Keep the squares and the loops and everything as big as you can, so you've got some time in between turns, and then once you get used to it, you can gradually bring it down to the right size and get control of it. Yeah, don't try to bang them out at 5 feet and 45 degrees. You just go ahead and make them huge, and then get the feel of it and tune your muscle memory in.
Like I said,
I found the pattern with these.
Like I said, I'd like to try to do the stunt pattern. I mean, I'm still just doing round maneuvers. I mean, a square is out of the question right now. Hang on one second.
With these, and you can actually see the pattern shapes. It looks pretty good. But my goal is to be able to do it with the fast combat plane.
Yeah, fast combat's about 120 miles an hour, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, my fast ship with Nelson does about 120 to 125. So
Yeah.
I'm practicing trying to do it with that.
Now, what about the planes? What's the difference between a fast combat plane and a speed limit plane? Are they the same size?
Oh yeah, you can fly a fast plane in speed limit. A lot of guys are now flying this.
Shit.
What's the matter, James?
Oh, no. I'm about to start on my Shark 402. And I had a piece of the spar broke.
Hey, Terry.
Hey, guys. Like a couple of months ago, so I went ahead and glued it back last night. I'm lining it up on the drawings. I'm like, hold up, this thing is like an 1/8 short. I realized when I glued it back, I glued it back into I closed up one of the slots for the ribs.
I'm glad I've never done that.
Oh, you lie.
The only plane I've ever built that had that kind of spar in it was a Baby Flight Street. But that's a good way. That's a good way to get shear webs without having to go to all the trouble. Except it didn't have a cap. It did have cap spars. Yeah.
I bet Gil's never done that.
Well, that's funny.
They'd have to know Gil to appreciate it.
Yeah, they would have to know him.
Is that W. Warbird?
No, Gil is oh man.
He's a control line flyer out of Baton
I
Rouge.
can't remember his dang old name. Bootlegger.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah. Gil Causey, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the one that taught me how to do the in one of my videos. It has me doing like the figure 8 and whatnot. He's the one that taught me how to do it. He's in one of the videos.
I think he was the one in there that was flying with you that I watched before we came on here where you ended up doing a figure 8, and then the next maneuver you was on the ground.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah.
That was the orange and blue ringmaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the first figure 8 I ever did, and I got so excited I crashed the damn thing.
Yeah, you're just doing dang good, man. I was proud of you.
You know what's weird though? That ringmaster, it lands beautifully. It glides, and I mean, it lands great. That Brodak bounces around like terribly.
Yeah, it's all in the landing gear position, James.
Yeah,
I just buried that position.
If y'all might have noticed, last time we didn't have any spammers coming in, and I took Sparky's advice and unclicked his Twitter feed, so this doesn't go up to Twitter anymore. That's where we were apparently picking them all up from.
Oh, very good, man. That's awesome.
Good job.
but yeah, I'm now starting the shark.
I like the drawing. Who here's an artist, a good artist?
I can't even draw
How
a straight
good?
line with a ruler.
Oh, good.
Who said I'm good? Was that
No, I
you?
said how
Wally?
good. How
how
good
good.
do you need?
Oh, adequate. Adequate. I'm a pretty good artist. I come from part of my family being historically artists, so I kind of got the gene for it. I like drawing technical drawings. I'd have probably made a good architect.
Yeah, that's what I like, technical
That in my
stuff.
family history too.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Brodak's laser cutting and their plans, man, look at falling off the wagon a little.
Well, the cutting doesn't match the plans many times.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about much. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just being, a little grouchy on it.
Hey,
It's not about.
I've got a Sterling Spitfire kit in the basement, and the
Talk
wing
about
layout's an inch and a half longer than the blueprints because they
Yeah.
shrank.
Oh, yeah.
That Sterling stuff is pretty horrible. Anyway, you got to just remake some of it.
Yep.
Naturally, I pick a
They only costed a couple of bucks back in the day.
Yep.
And that's good for you. That'll make an engine. That'll make a model engineer out of you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
You can't engineer stuff when
I've
you're
got-
a modeler anyway.
I bought 2 of those kits. One of them's for my son, so I don't see him building that one. So I'll be building 2 of them.
We're probably going to have a short, relatively short session tonight because I got to get up early in the morning and finish getting ready to go to Huntersville. Wayne's going to meet me over here at 9 o'clock, and I got a lot of getting ready to do before he gets here. So we might knock off in an hour and a half. It's 10:30 now, 11:30, 12. We'll knock off between 11:30 and 12 tonight. I hate to knock off early on Fridays because those are the nights we usually go long.
Yeah.
But I want to feel good. I want to feel good and be on my game tomorrow.
So, Howard, you think you're gonna make it back home in October?
Oh, sorry, what'd you say?
Howard,
Yo, what it was?
you think you're gonna make it in October?
I'll be at the team trials, yes.
Oh, team trials, not over here.
The Baton Rouge contest. What weekend is it?
The 21st and 22nd.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the week after. Yeah, I need to go book my hotel room.
Yeah, there's my,
In town or
there's
out of
my
town?
weekend for the 22nd, let's see, what is it? 21st and 22nd. So the Carolina Criterium. We overlap. Hope we don't steal any of your attendance.
As long as you don't steal Jim Lee, I'm happy.
Oh, now Jim usually shows up in October over here. But
Yeah, see, he was with us last year.
I like it when he comes because he's got all kinds of cool stuff to look at.
Yeah, and let's see, Tom Dixon. We had Dan Barry last year. Apparently, I looked at the score. Because I got a picture of the scoreboard, and I noticed Dan Barry's name on there. I'm like, oh, look at that. I didn't even know what it was.
Dan Barry. Now we got a Derek Barry.
Yeah, that's his dad, I think.
I
think
Dale is Derek's dad. The guy with
okay,
the
different Barry then.
long hair. Yeah, I guess so.
But we had a lot of the Texas people.
Yeah, Derek's one of the guys that was flying in the top 5 at the Nats that Sparky videoed.
Yeah. Look at all these nice, cool blocks I get to carve.
Oh,
Here, look at this. I actually have a plane with a muffler.
Right on.
A little flight streak. Do you see my pilot? You see
No,
the pilot?
not yet.
oh yeah.
Oh, it's Alfred E.
Yep. Alfred.
Alfred E.
Oh, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
Oh, I see now. Yeah.
You worry?
Yeah. This is a plane that usually stays in my little van, and I fly it quite a bit. Flight streak with no wheels.
Yeah, flight streaks are a wonderful plane just to go
Great
out
plane.
and toss around in the sky. And
Great plane.
I mean, you could fly slow combat with a flight streak and have a good little match because they'll
Oh,
turn
absolutely.
time.
Yeah, I got a eyelet on the tail for pulling streamer. Absolutely.
Yeah, I got 2 baby flight streaks. And
Nice airplane.
my buddy Ron Cribbs is going to visit in December and bring me a old full-size flight streak.
Yeah.
A 35 size, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I fly mine on like 62-foot lines. I think that's about average, right? For flight streaks.
Yeah,
60 foot.
I pretty much fly everything on 60s. I got a couple I fly on 62s. And
Yeah.
today did I realize how big my P40 is. And I might fly it on 62s, but I'm going to start on 60s tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah.
With
I
the
have an
muffler and
oversized
heavy
flight
nose,
streak.
with the muffler and heavy nose spinner, I finally got it balanced. It was a full inch or more behind
Yeah,
the balance point. So
I had to put some lead in the tail of this. I mean, all my planes, I hate to put any kind of lead in them, but I mean, it's got lead in the tail. I mean, it's all I could do. I mean,
that's okay.
yeah, it's
not
still
as bad
light.
as having to put lead in the nose. That really.
Oh yeah, I hate it. Hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about when I first balanced the P40. I'm like, good Lord, how am I going to do this? And
Yeah.
I put a big honking heavy muffler on it, and I hope the LA-46 is okay with that. I've never flown in LA with a big muffler like that before.
Is it the stock muffler?
It's a stock muffler. I don't know if it's the stock muffler or not. I don't know which one's supposed to go on it.
I think it's a E3030. My son's 46. That's what we run on his until I put this 762 on it. And it worked good. It worked just fine.
Either that,
Muffler.
either the 762 opened up or a tongue muffler are the two I prefer on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a tongue muffler on mine, and I put the added row of holes in, and then I went up one drill size.
Yeah, me too. That's exactly what I did.
Yep.
And a pressure tap.
Yep, me too. Yep. Yeah, if you're running a muffler, you might as well gain that pressure. It doesn't hurt.
Now, Randy Smith says pressure makes them stupid. He's never explained exactly what stupid means, but sometimes I have trouble having to adjust my needle between flights, and that's stupid. So,
Well, some
maybe-
motors don't like pressurized fuel. Like I swear, these little, you know, all the Fox 35s, they like Uniflow, man.
yeah,
Yeah, but like you said, you prefer whenever you goes up, you get in, you prefer a softer brake, right?
yes,
So the reason Randy says he doesn't like the pressure is because that's what causes that. The suction allows for a harder brake, but
Mhm.
with these modern
I bet you're right. Yeah,
Yep, that's right.
yeah.
these
I
modern
prefer very soft brake is all I want.
I run them like you. I don't go for that brake.
Yeah,
I just run a big flat top to give you some slowing on the downline.
hmm
But other than that, I run them just like you. I don't go for a real hard brake.
yeah. And it gives me more confidence when I know it's time to pull into that first wing over. It's going to have the authority to go up like a rocket overhead rather than hoping it breaks when I
Mhm.
pull up.
On the power.
Yeah,
I run them like you. But you know, the only reason anybody ever says anything about muffle pressure, that's the reason. Because we went over and over and over that a million times. And I flew with guys like California talking about that, not muffle pressure. But that was the reason. They were showing me how much harder of a brake they get on suction.
yeah.
Well, no kidding. You're going to start for fuel.
Yeah, it leans
they
up.
rev up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I
That makes-
flew this plane the other day.
Smoothie.
It's
Yeah,
got
boy.
a Magnum 45 on it, 3.5 ounce tank, and I was running it with a 3-bladed 10.5, and this thing ran. This no kidding, 3.5 ounces for 8.5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was wondering if this thing was ever going to run out of gas. So now I'll run it with about 2.5 ounces of gas, and I've got a 10.4 propeller on here.
Yeah,
But it flew so damn fast that it felt like it was tail heavy, you know. And when I balanced it, the balance is pretty damn good on this right now. But it was so fast, it's just like, you know, you're not getting that square corner stuff
Yeah.
because it's just going 100 miles an hour.
did you post about that on Stunt Hanger?
I think I said something about it to Daryl because he was flying the same airplane, but he flies his with the Brodak 40,
hmm
and I was telling him about it. But that's the only place I posted is just
Oh, okay.
just talking to him about
Somebody
it.
posted a similar topic, so I thought I couldn't remember if that was you or not.
But this airplane, I mean, there's no brake. I mean, it was just flat ass on it the whole
Balls to
time.
the wall. That's what you
Yeah.
call that.
So anyway, it was like, well, I better go about 5 clicks out and then see what happens.
Yeah.
And that's better, but it's still fast. And my buddy, this is no kidding. There was absolutely not a breeze. And I says, take my phone. I need to know what my lap time is. So he records it. And that's how I knew it was 8.5 minutes.
Mhm.
And the air was so still that the smoke, you know, the exhaust was coming in. And when I got done and went in to refuel this thing, my eyes were burning. Oh my gosh, I can't
Yeah.
believe from that exhaust on this thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I bet the engine got pretty hot too.
Well, it was all right because it wasn't that big a deal other than I didn't think I was ever going to shit and stop.
Wally, what nitro was you using?
15%.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, VP.
He lives
VP
up high.
fuel. Yeah, I live at 4,500 feet. So
Yeah, he's up high. He's got to have that nitro.
but man, I'll tell you what, I couldn't believe it. I just like, God, does this thing? It got to the point where I wasn't flying no pattern or nothing. I was doing figure eights and loops and
Yeah.
flying inverted. I mean, and it wasn't over like you're flying, you know, on the downside. I was doing maneuvers everywhere, and the problem is with the guy that was recording this on my phone. He's over here trying to follow me, you know, and half of the flying he hasn't got it on the phone because he didn't know what I was going to do. You know, there's no, of course, he doesn't know the pattern anyway to follow you even on a pattern. But
yeah, it helps if the videographer knows the pattern, and if you can do it in the same place. I just put the pilot speed at the bottom of the center of the screen, and then just let the plane fly in and out of the screen, and it'll be in the right place for the stunts.
Well, we had this one guy there that he thought he knew it all, and he's telling me, he says, you know, you need to put a servo in there and put some speed control on that. I said, no, that's not what we do here. You know, and it was like that the whole time. He just figured that he was, well, you need longer lines, you know, and I said, no, my lines are what I fly on. They're perfect, you know, and the regulation lines, all this stuff. And, well, you know, it's just one of those guys that figures he's done it before. He knows it, you know, and it's like, dude, I don't know where you got your information, but I've been flying airplanes since I was a kid, you know. Oh, it was great, but it was a lot of fun. I had my Chipmunk. I couldn't get my Fox motor to run the O-ring that seals the needle valve was broken. It was going. It's like, oh man, was that ever a blast?
Yeah, I'm familiar with that problem.
So anyway, I put it on the ground, and then I thought, well, I'll went over to my son's shop and got some O-rings from him. So I can't fly tomorrow, but I'm hoping I can fly Sunday afternoon. If not, I'm into next week. So I'm from here on out the rest of the summer. If we get days that aren't windy, I'm gone. But the only problem is this is no kidding. All the schools are in school now, so you got to deal with the kids and you got to deal with the football players. And
yeah, they started.
Oh my gosh, we drove all over the place and finally found one school that they didn't wreck the field with all the soccer poles and everything. Like last year, I was flying at one park. They have soccer fields in there, but they got the post far enough to where you can fly 60-foot lines with no problem. 70-foot I wouldn't fly in there, but 60s you can. And now they put some kind of poles for something right down the middle of the dam, all the way down the field for I don't know why. That ruined our flying field there. So it's getting harder to find places to fly, man. It sucks. But I guess everybody's having to deal with that.
Are you not in a club that has its own field?
Well, we have a radio control flying field out by our airport, but guess what? They have nothing to do with control line. But the thing is when you only got 3 people, which is me and my boys, in the whole town that fly control line, you're not going to get support for flying control line from anybody.
Yeah.
You know, it just isn't going to happen. So you just gotta, wherever you find a place that's got a section of grass that you think that you can fly in and nobody's going to bother you, you better pull your stuff out of your outfit and go, you know. So my outfit's going to have 3 airplanes in it even given time to where I can pull them out, pull my fly box out and go fly.
I'm sorry to hear that about the RC guys' attitude, because around here they're fascinated with watching us, and we take turns. I mean, when they fly helicopters, the fixed wing planes have to wait, and it's just the same with us, you know, and so we have a good relationship. They even mow a circle for us when the guys come out and mow now, and they're going to plant
that's nice.
polyester. They're going to plant us a polyester takeoff and a couple of takeoff and landing strips.
That'd really be nice.
Yeah.
You know, and like, well, they've got an RC field about 60 miles north from here. It's in Idaho Falls, and there on part of their field, they do have a 60-foot circle up there. But I'm not going to drive 60 miles up there to go fly my control lines. But if my brother was going to be there, I would definitely do it. Because he's the same way. He don't get to go that much. But, you know, it just really stinks because you haven't got a designated place to fly. And that's what would really be nice, to where anytime you want to go, you know you have a place.
Yeah.
Just go set up and no problem, you know.
Yep.
But we just got to go running around until we find a place and then set up and do it. That's all we can do.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm glad you take the initiative and get out there and do it. And we got Steve Hines joined us. Hi, Steve.
Hey,
Hey, I can hear everybody tonight. The last couple times it's been so broke up that and jumpy and stuff like that, but it must be the internet.
We're pretty good tonight. Dane's got a little chatter going on in the background, but it's not enough to bother anything.
Did you still hear it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Terry, my brother sold his house and has bought another house and moved all his stuff in there. And when he gets to where he's going through all of his mall stuff, I'll have him leave his K&B outboard out.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a look at that thing and see if I dare try to fix that shaft or the skag or what. I'll take a look at it and see.
Bring it on where we can see it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've still got the
I'll do
feelers
that.
out. Those little flex shafts. I found a couple of guys sending me 4 for the 21, but the 45 he doesn't have any. But I've got 4 of the 21s coming.
Yeah,
I've got a couple of the 21s that need shafts.
Apparently, you know, it was just broke off, and that's what made it short.
And that's where they break. That's where they broke, at that square swedged part is where they break. They're brittle. Yeah.
Then what they do, just heat them on and then just let them
from what
cool
I
and see what
understand,
happens.
they put it in some sort of a swedge machine that electrically solders it at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. And it made it brittle at the end there.
So much heat that it made it brittle.
Correct.
Minnesota Mike says, hi, Steve. And he also says to Charles that they've got rooms in Madera. Just tell them you're with the contest.
Yeah, actually, I did that. Yeah, there was an email circulating around. Mike sent me an email, and I called and told him I was going to be with the Golden State Stunt Championship, and I got a room.
Excellent. They give you a discount if you're with the
yeah.
contest. Yeah.
It's a single room with
Carolina too.
queen beds for $95, so not bad.
No, not bad at all.
So Mocha's not making the shaft anymore for the outboards. I thought they were starting.
They're supposedly reformulating the same group bought out Merco, Fox, and K&B.
Yeah, I was on their website, Steve. Like, I've got a whole bunch of Fox engines, and most of mine are 40s and 60s. But they were saying they had some parts, but they were saying every week they was going to keep listing more parts, and they're going to be gearing up to do more of that and get more, you know. And that's one thing they were saying was that I understood was they're going to gear up and do some more outboard stuff.
Yeah.
I know my one buddy, when he ordered the flex shaft for the 45 and then the 60 size shaft is 1/4 inch, or the bigger shaft, the gas shaft. But for the 45 outboard, he had to order, I forget how many meter roll it was, but it weighs like 230 pounds.
Oh my heck.
Of cable. There's enough cable for the planet.
Yeah, you imagine how many of them flex shafts you could make with that.
Yeah, he says, oh, it wasn't really that expensive, but he said I had to buy so much of it.
Man.
You know, but that's the way it goes, you know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of those outboards out there. There must be a million of them out there.
Wow.
Well,
Especially the 21s. I think there were more of those.
Yeah, it sure be nice if they start supporting what they had out there. I mean, it's understandable this engine was made in the, 80s, middle 80s, something like that.
Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, I think the last one I have, you know, what I'll do is for Monday, I'll bring that other boat out because I'm planning on running my my outboard on Sunday if the weather's okay. And then it'll be on the bench. I'll be wiping it off. So I'll just leave it out for Monday. It's got the 90 K&B outboard on it. It's a custom built tunnel hull. It's pretty cool, if I don't say so myself.
I like it.
But
I like it already.
But I don't want to. I love Stunt, and I don't want to pollute this, Sparky's channel with model boats.
Yeah. Hey, have you guys seen them 3-bladed tornado propellers?
Yes, sir.
I've never run one, but I got one on this now that's at 10.4, and we'll see what my lap time ends up being on this when I get it in the air again. But
yeah, I got some
I've
master
never run
air
a
screw
tornado.
3-blades.
What's that?
I got some master air screw 3-blades that I run.
Yeah, I do too. In fact, what
Carbons,
was on this was a 10.5, but as fast as this thing was going, making this thing run richer, I still want to slow it down. So I'll see what the next flight does.
I got a 10.5 that I wanted to put on my P40, but it's I think that's too small for the LA 46.
That's a good one for the 46.
It might be. Well,
Really?
46.
Yeah. You can do a 10.
3-blade. You might be able to do that.
Okay, it's in the car then. I'll try it out tomorrow after I'm made in the plane.
You know, Rusty, I used a 12.5 today. My LA 46 was purring along, great power. So I think 10.5 would be too small.
Well, on a
3-blade, my 11.6 was running away. So the 12.5 put a load on it and it was running excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
a
what I
3-blade
like to do, is
will
load my
change the
motor,
load
but-
a little bit, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So we'll see how it runs. But since I'm not trying to do a 4.2 brake, then I've got a little more room for adjustment on the needle.
Yeah. This thing here, when it starts,
grab
it runs. It's just a solid run. There ain't no change in RPM anywhere. And then you get one little ring, and then it dies at the end, and that's it. I mean, you get hardly any warning that it's going to run out of fuel. So it's a matter of having it figured out how much time you're going to get out of whatever ounce you're running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now my setup, I had a 4.2 brake, Rusty.
Did you really?
I had a 4.2
On your
brake.
Uniflow?
I'll see if I can make it do one.
Wow.
It's mine's a suction, just regular suction.
Oh, yeah, your
tank.
suction.
The homemade tank.
Oh, see, my son's, we're running a Uniflow Brodak tank on his. In fact, it's the one they suggest in that ARF to put in it. That's exactly what I put in it.
Yeah, I got a grubby old Brodak Uniflow on the P40 now. It's not the one I wanted, but I didn't have time to plumb a clunk tank, so I just put it on, washed it out, and pressure checked it. So it held pressure. So I figured I'd try it first.
Yeah, I wish I had a video of the engine run. It was just awesome. Just absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I wish you did.
Hear what I think is the most perfect 4.2 brake I've ever heard. It's on my Max Test 35 on my shoestring, and it's on my YouTube channel. I think Ron Cribbs is flying it when I videoed him doing that. But that is, I mean, for the whole flight, it's absolutely perfect. It's like 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock where it turns on and off.
Yeah,
You can't ask for better than that, man.
Yeah, I like that.
So I picked up this master air screw. It's a 10.5 3-blade.
That's
That's
exactly
what I got.
what I took off.
Yeah, I bought this. I marked it on the packet. I bought this my buddy up north that turned me on to those Evolution motors. We both saw Banjock and his buddy fly those tandem patterns with the PT19s.
I
Yeah,
love watching that. Yeah.
yeah, that's really talented. So I guess they were running these 3-blade props on those. So he picked one up and he's been running his Evolution motor. Like he says now it's his favorite motor. And I've read I looked on YouTube for all the negative stuff. And I basically think it's because people are trying to operate that motor twisting the hell out of the needle valve. And it's got this weird needle valve setup where once it's adjusted, the factory says you shouldn't have to touch it.
I don't see how that could possibly
That's
be
not
true.
right though, because
Well,
you got
quarter
different
turn either
conditions
way.
like
Quarter turn.
Oh, quarter turn. Yeah, I
Quarter
can see
turn.
that.
Yeah. None of this 3 turns in, 3.5 out. You know, none of that.
No, that's ridiculous on any engine.
Yeah, your altitude and your nitromethane is going to make a difference on where that's set.
This is one of those Evolution 36s. It has this top adjust on the needle itself.
Yeah.
Remote needle valve.
Yeah, and so they set it from the factory, and then they only give you a certain range.
Oh, okay. That's
interesting.
But-
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'll have to look at Wayne's. He's got a couple of them.
yeah. My
Yeah,
son's
you
got a
Yeah, that's
You can
it.
take that off if you want.
Yeah.
For sure
The
you
bolts, you just take LA needle and it's right on.
Well, you know anybody that's run the 46?
The Evolution 36, factory same type of situation. They're kind of, but you feel weight thing off and stuff like that. They run really good.
Dang, you're breaking up audio so bad that we can hardly understand what you're saying. It is on this end anyway.
Yeah, same here.
You never did figure out what that background chatter is?
On my screen.
What I found the easiest thing to do on a Evolution 36 is you take a FP20 or 25 needle out of a RC carburetor, it screws right into the Venturi, and then you can use that.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
Interesting.
good to know. That's good to know because my son has that same setup, you know, the PT19 with the engine and handle lines and all that stuff. Was it Horizon that has that?
Yeah, Horizon.
Yeah, they
had it,
used
yeah.
to.
Yeah,
The big thing
They
is,
don't have it anymore.
the big thing is if you're going to use that PT19, move that engine way out front and get ready to add a bunch of tail weight to it. I mean, nose weight to it, because it'll be tail heavy with that motor.
They're way tail heavy, huh?
Yep. And that thing will be so touchy. The other thing we did is that we added like a bar on the back so we could slow down how far the elevator traveled.
So, Steve, did you guys ever try one of the 46s?
No, but I want to try a 40. They make the 36 became a 40.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to try that.
40's probably lighter. Is it the same crankcase?
Huh?
Is it the same
I
crankcase?
think it is.
You put me in.
They just punched out the cylinder, huh?
Yeah. That's like the FP 35s and 40s. I think it's the same engine. It's just the 40s bored out more and it's lighter.
I've seen a Evolution 40 with a sprinkler type Venturi and stuff on it at Toledo show here a couple of years ago. It was all done. They just never came out with it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that all the engineering was done and everything, and they just never produced it.
That must have had something wrong. Maybe it wouldn't run like they wanted it to or something.
No, I guess it ran great.
So are they producing motors now other than the gasoline stuff?
Yeah, they still make the 40, the 52, the 60. But I didn't realize that there was a take apart SV11 all done. Never went into production either.
By that outfit?
Yeah, by Horizon. They brought the 60 control line motor out. I have one of them. And it was going to be a package to where you could buy a take apart SV11 and that 60 motor and everything.
Wow, that'd be nice.
Do you know who designed the SV series?
Yeah, Randy Smith. Randy.
Was that
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, he said that
the planes look. They're nice looking planes.
they never returned his PA61 side exhaust. He sent him one to work up that kit and everything. Then he decided not to make.
Nice.
I tried to talk John Brodak into buying the rights to that Evolution 40 and producing it, but I don't know. I guess there's just not enough people buying these motors to make it worthwhile to build them.
Yeah,
We got a question from YouTube. Ken Colbert wants to know if anybody knows where you can get a set of plans for a 60 size pit special.
Pit special?
Yeah.
That's the bi-wing.
That's
yeah,
right.
that's a biplane. That's Curtis.
That's they make them over here in Wyoming. Well, I guess we go get him his full size set of plans.
Are all pits biplanes, or do they have
No, they're all
biplane.
biplanes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Started out with the little stinker, the single seat. Then it went to S2, the S2A.
Yeah.
Then they did the Samson, and I think that was the last one. That's the one that has the Sukhoi radio in it. What an airplane!
Yeah, they're geared back up and making them again over here in Wyoming, and they make the new style pits. It's really a pretty airplane.
Yeah, I got a ride in one of those up at Sun and Fun here a month or so ago, and man, I got red eye so bad.
Oh wow!
yeah,
man.
Yeah, I love the looks of the Pitts Python. That's a nice looking airplane.
That's a nice one. That's it.
Pythons,
yeah, with the Sukhoi. That's it.
Yeah.
I'll have to see if I can get the photos where I can show you.
But I don't know if anybody's ever made a control line version of a Pitts.
No, I've got that P-38, which is a nice plane. In fact, I've got my silver LA-46 in it. And that plane has a muffler. I've flown that a couple times. That's a nice plane.
Hey, Terry.
Yeah.
You remember the other night you were telling us about in your first aeronautical engineering class, the instructor put
a formula.
Yeah, and it basically was the Bumblebee, right?
Correct.
Well, what about the GB? They talk about something else that looks like it couldn't possibly.
Oh, I know it. I know it.
That is.
Have you ever seen Delmar Benjamin's GB? Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah, I know.
I've seen him fly that a lot of times. Yeah. Oh man, that guy's something. He comes down that runway on a knife edge sideways. It's like, how in the hell does he get enough rudder to keep that thing flying on a knife edge like that down the runway?
And what percentage of prop is in the clear air outside of the cowl?
There's a good bit. It's got like a 3-blade, like it's got a DC-3 motor in it.
I'll be back, you guys. I'll check back with you.
Okay, Charles. See you later.
Right. See ya.
Yeah,
I
think
that motor all
is
modified.
His GB now is, I think, in the Smithsonian Institute. I think they donated it to the institute.
He had that little accident in Germany. In fact, it's on YouTube where he clipped the end of the runway and hurt the landing gear. Did you see that? It's on YouTube.
I didn't see that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
Well, you guys that know aeronautics, would you look at a GB and think that possibly looked like a good flying airplane?
Well, I've got a GB Model Z that's RC, and it flies like a dream. In fact, it knife edges like crazy. You'll think it will, but it does. It's because of the side fuselage area.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just,
there's a lot of area there.
it's just got to have a huge horsepower.
prop.
It must fly
Yeah.
on
Yeah, a lot of engine.
horsepower more than it does on wing.
Yeah, a lot of prop.
Yeah.
And it's got
And
a,
on
it's
the
got a
side,
knife.
the rudder's now the elevator.
Yeah, and it's got a, it's a knife wing too, isn't it? I mean, it's not a thick wing. It's not fat. It's pretty slim, isn't it?
No, it's a very thin
Thin.
cord.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah, thin height from.
Yeah, thin cord. Yeah, but
Yep.
you figure that Doolittle won the air races with that
Well,
2 years in a row when everybody else was.
Yeah, the
killed in
Thompson
the thing.
Trophy race, and then
Yeah.
later, the other guy got killed in high-speed stalled and went into the ground by the trees.
Yeah, where it cartwheeled over and over and over.
It's a GB
Yeah, well, it
harder to
snap rolled
recover.
into
If you-
it tip stalled real bad. You know, accelerated stalls, those are really misunderstood, and those kill more pilots than anything else. And it's not usually on landing; it's usually on takeoff. A lot of times when they're climbing out and do a steep turn to the right, left, whatever way you clear, but right is usually the worst because the airplane wants to turn left anyway due to
Right,
P factor and torque. You know, I've got my LOA for the Mustang, for the P-51. I got it up in Kissimmee back a few years back. And what is crazy about that airplane, when you set it up on the runway for takeoff, now this is the full-size airplane, you set the rudder trim to takeoff position, which basically is like standing on the right rudder.
That's
Okay?
right.
Yeah.
And what you do is you use the throttle to keep the airplane straight
Yep.
because you will run out of rudder like that and crash. So you
You,
use the
yeah.
torque
You adjust
to
it.
keep it straight because you will run out of rudder
Hmm.
up by stamping on the rudder. You've got to
you
use the power to keep
gyroscopic
it straight.
Use the
amazing.
gyroscopic precession to keep it straight, right?
That and P factor, right. And because the Mustang has that steep angle of attack when it's when it's before you get up on the mains. Once you get up on the mains, everything changes. First of all, you can see
Yeah.
you can see ahead for
Right,
the first time,
yeah.
other than tacting and looking out this little view you get. But yeah, you set the rudder trim to take off, like right rudder, and then you use the power to keep it straight. It's just incredible.
Yeah. Now, when you start your takeoff roll with the tail dragger, once you start gaining speed, you push down elevator to pick the tail up, and then
Well,
straighten out.
usually you don't want to push it. You want to let the tail come up on its own.
You hold
You
it
don't
neutral.
want to push it. Yeah, it'll come up on its own. You really don't want to.
Oh, you don't. Okay, because that's kind of
Yeah,
scary.
you
pushing
can,
down
but-
on it while you're rolling down a runway.
Yeah,
Now you
Yeah,
end up putting your
it's
propeller in the ground.
Yeah.
yeah. You really don't want to do that. But yeah. But airplanes are, the one gentleman from Canada who was on, who had the well, it's not a Kit Fox. He said he had a Tundra something. Like, name escapes me, but I'm familiar with the airframe. Beautiful little airplane. But those are fun airplanes, man. Those are fun airplanes to fly.
So,
I've got a buddy that just got a brand new Twin Beach. It's not new, but it's new to him. It's like a 4-year-old airplane. It's a beautiful airplane, all pressurized, but I don't know. It's sort of like driving a Winnebago around. I don't like it. I mean, I like it. We went up to Oshkosh. It was beautiful. Just, we're there and, private airplane. It was real nice flight. I helped fly a good bit of the time, but I like lighter, smaller airplanes. They're just more fun, I think. I don't know.
have any of you guys been over to the Kissimmee Flight Museum over there at
It's a good friend of mine. Yeah,
who is it?
absolutely. Kermit Weeks.
Oh, you're talking Kermit. Now, their neighbors is Tom Richards.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know him, but I know of him.
Well, Tom
Yeah, Fantasy of
Richards.
Flight is Kermit's thing.
Yeah. Well, Tom is the one in the flight museum, the Kissimmee Flight Museum. Anyway, they have that P-51 that's got the Griffin in it that runs the counter-rotating propellers that they race it at the air races. And,
yeah, Precious Metal was like that.
Yeah, but anyway, they had a fire. It was real bad in it 3 years ago, and it's a matter what they do with restoring that over there. But he's got one of my plastic airplanes that I built him in his office over there. He's a pretty cool guy.
Hi, Frank.
Wow.
Frank Washburn just joined us.
Hey.
He didn't join us on video. He just joined us on YouTube.
Oh, that's good. That's how it starts.
Yeah, old Kermit's got him quite a deal going. I remember when if I remember right, he was in New York with the biplane stuff, and he got big up there and ended up coming down here into Florida.
Well, he when I met him, he was in Miami at Opelika, and he had just a phenomenal collection, but it was really shoehorned in these hangars. And then Hurricane Andrew came and really, I'm telling you, it was sad.
Andrew made a mess, didn't it?
And, you know, he had a bunch of original World War I airplanes, and it twisted them all up into just tubing and wood splinters and fabric.
Them World War I planes.
You're all destroyed.
Oh, man.
Everything. But the engines even had cylinders broke off, the Larones and
jeez.
Yeah, I think it was Larones, and he had some of the German ones, of course.
Mercedes.
He's got a heck of a collection up there.
Something like that.
Pardon?
No, the German rotary is like a Larone, but it's a Oberrussel, or it's hard to pronounce. But
oh yeah, that's it. That's hard to pronounce, but that's But he's got quite the deal up there in Kissimmee now. He had that Fantasy of Flight open, but now he's closed it down. He's really doing a phenomenal refurbish up there, and you know it's quite the deal. But he's got one of Howard Hughes' old planes, Lockheed that he's Lockheed. I think it's a Lone Star he's restoring. Some neat stuff.
Cool.
But when you got a constant flow of cash.
Yeah, that's what you need.
From annuities, you can do that.
Hey, Terry, a minute ago I asked you a question. If when you were taking off, you straightened the plane out with gyroscopic precession. Did I use the right term? Is that the right